In a top-secret US military hangar somewhere in the Sonoran Desert, a new technician is getting introduced to the USS Prometheus. This state-of-the-art helicarrier was supposed to have been Norman Osborn's flagship back when he was commanding American law enforcement. Osborn lost his job before the Prometheus could launch, and now the technicians have to disassemble it. Yeah, Osborn had it equipped with a bunch of non-sanctioned munitions, chemical ordnance, biological weapons, God only knows what else. The techs taking it apart don't really talk much, and I don't ask. This thing was designed to end the world near as I can tell. As the two step into the Prometheus, however, a strange armed group is there to greet them. Without waiting for an order, the intruders shoot the two technicians with paralyzing darts. The team leader tells the men to put their new captives with the others. They have to get the Prometheus into the air in 5 minutes. Bexley, how's it going up there, son? This bird ready to fly? Almost, sir. The access codes were right on the money. I'm firing up the main engines now. And just like that, the world's most dangerous helicarrier lifts off into the sky. Squad Commander Sutton congratulates his men, claiming that Strike owes them all a great debt. This heist will be their first step towards rebuilding the organization. The team flies their stolen airship into the night, nothing able to stop them. Meanwhile, Wolverine's in New York City dealing with the chaos caused by a flock of giant crows. While he's trying to work out what to do with them, he's stabbed in the back by a flaming pitchfork. Because this is Wolverine, however, he just rips it out of his back and turns around. Alright, Looney Tunes, playtime's over. He's up against Scarecrow, whose birds have infested the entire area. He's grown more powerful, and it's made him arrogant as birds circle above New York streets. They're strong enough and vicious enough to give even Logan trouble, pecking at him from every angle. I am the lullaby for stillborn children and the bone-dried rattle of a dying breath. Let the streets run red in honor of my coronation. Let all who... You talk too much, Scarecrow. Wolverine's slash brings the villain down to the ground. Before the masked man can recover, Wolverine retrieves a vial of pepper spray from a fallen police officer, pushes it under Scarecrow's mask, and sprays it as hard as he can. Now the fight is over, and the people are starting to recover. Wolverine takes a second to catch up with his girlfriend, reporter Melita Garner. The news isn't good. A bunch of evil magical hammers have fallen from the sky and supervillains have broke out of prison. Everything's chaotic right now. Melita's doing well, but she's scared. This feels like the end of the world. Still, the two take comfort in being close to each other. Wolverine's about to give Melita a lift home, but before she can, she gets a phone call. It's Captain America, who has a job for Logan. He's heard about the helicarrier the Strike guy stole. The thing's heading for New York. And since the Avengers are busy dealing with the mechanized Hydra invasion of Washington, D.C., stopping the Prometheus is going to be Wolverine's job. Logan knows Strike. They used to be a counter-terrorism agency from the UK, but got taken over by a bad guy, then disappeared. Melita wants to come along to investigate, but Wolverine's not okay with that. The two argue a bit, but ultimately Logan admits media isn't his job. He hands Melita his Avengers card, letting her access their headquarters. Even if the helicarrier is dangerous, she can dig up some information on Strike from there. It might be helpful. The two share one last hug before Melita heads off. Back on the Prometheus, Strike has full control of the vessel and they're getting closer to NYC. The squad wasn't expecting this, but Commander Sutton claims their bosses want the team to undertake one additional job while they're in the US. Half-Kree Agent Brahm is skeptical about heading to New York since it's the headquarters of the Avengers, but Sutton claims they're going to get paid extra for it. I'm buying a villa in France and a Lamborghini Aventador, and a girlfriend and a yacht and another Lamborghini. You can buy all that and more, lad. All that and more. Our esteemed leaders at Strike will take this ship and re-establish themselves as players in the big game. We'll be their top dogs as well. No more crawling through third world sewers and knocking down tin pot dictators. I don't like deviating from the plan. We got what we came for. Flying this thing into Superhero Central seems stupid. Plans change, soldier. That's all you need to know. Sutton takes a second to stare at the view screen. Something aboard the Prometheus has made him extremely happy. Within an hour, the stolen helicarrier is hovering over New York. Civilians point and gape at the unexpected arrival. The news reports that this might be a good thing, a government initiative to keep New York safe during the ongoing chaos. Wolverine, meanwhile, is sprinting across a skyscraper rooftop. He's got to get aboard the helicarrier somehow, and with it in the air, this is his best shot. He takes a leap. And just as Sutton brings the weapon systems online, dispensing the dead bodies of his prisoners from the airlock while he does so, Logan latches onto the Prometheus's outer hull. This thing might be a threat, but Wolverine's here to deal with it. In no time, Logan has cut his way into the inside of the helicarrier. He's keeping his claws out, trying to get to the bridge as quickly as he can. With everything else going on, he can't waste his time on strike.
The world's gone so far to hell right now. Terrorist ghost with a helicarrier poised to vaporize NYC barely qualifies as news.
He's making good progress getting through the halls, but before too long, Wolverine finds Agent Croydon pointing a gun at him. Logan's not remotely scared of a firearm, but that wasn't the point. Croydon was just the distraction. Brom stabs Wolverine right in the back with an energy sword.
Wow, they sent the Wolverine. They must be taking us seriously.
It's not enough to take Logan down, but he's clearly in a lot of pain from the wound. Meanwhile, Melita's made a terrible discovery researching the ship's records from Avengers Tower. The Prometheus is armed with nuclear warheads. Brom is close to ending the fight with Wolverine, having both his gun and sword close to Logan's neck. But he holds off on the killing blow, gloating that this was an easy fight. That gives Logan the chance to turn things back around. He brings the agent down with a quick kick and flex of his claws. It's not over yet. At Wolverine's prompting, Brom drops his gun, sticking with his sword for this. Croydon just wants to shoot Logan, but his friend's convinced that wouldn't do anything. Plus, he's excited to test himself in a proper fight against Wolverine. The X-Man lunges at the strike operative, but Brom's faster, ducking under Logan's claws to slash at his side. The spy drew blood, but as Logan points out, so did he. There are claw marks right across Brom's gut. The blue man grins before chairing right back into the action. Sword and claw clash, the two fighters push each other's blades apart before clashing again.
Just getting warmed up.
You and me both, kid.
Back at Avengers Tower, Melita's managed to identify Sutton, though she doesn't have his name or any details just yet. So she calls Pete Wisdom, superpowered British spy. Another new Avenger? Do they not turn anyone down over there? Wisdom knows Sutton, and that's not his real name. He was a strike Black Ops guy who fell off the map when that agency disbanded. Pete knows he's still out there, figuring he's become a mercenary. He's not fond of Sutton, calling out his taste for blood and dramatics. Still, he'll send Melita the guy's strike profile. As he does, though, Pete spots something in Sutton's record. It says here he was a test subject during Project Black Box. Bloody horror show, to put it bluntly, an experiment carried out by government spooks in an effort to build better soldiers. It was designed to push men to their breaking points, and it got out of hand. Meanwhile, Wolverine is still trying to get past Croydon and Brom. He actually offers the agents a chance to surrender.
I mean, I gotta kick the blue guy's ass on principle, but the rest of you can give up quietly.
Before Brom can react to that, a bolt of psychic lightning puts Wolverine on the ground. Croydon's a telepath, and he's set on taking a closer look inside Logan's mind. He opens a mental door into a dark red expanse. There's something making noise in the shadows, a creature emerging from the depths of Wolverine's mind getting closer. Croydon's too slow to react to it. A savage-looking rage-fueled inner Wolverine's right on top of him, stabbing the mental invader right in the gut.
Could have told your buddy that wasn't any place to go messing around.
Rather than try and take down Brom, however, Logan turns and runs off into the Prometheus's hallways. He's got to bring the ship down before it does any real damage. He sprints towards the communications room, hoping to use the equipment there to land the helicarrier. On the bridge, Sutton is with Bexley and the last strike agent Harrow. He wants to outline why they're doing this now.
I am a firm believer in fate, Bexley. I dreamt of a hammer so large only God himself could lift it. Then he let it fall, and it broke the world in half.
Bexley figures Sutton's talking about stealing the helicarrier because it was built by Osborn's version of S.H.I.E.L.D. hammer. The commander laughs at that, but explains that it's something more literal. 48 hours ago, 8 enchanted Asgardian hammers similar to Thor's fell to Earth. That was Sutton's big sign, the fateful moment that told him they had to act now to pull this off. But he just slipped up.
You mean what Strike Command was trying to tell you, right? We didn't steal this thing because you had a dream. You had direct orders from your superiors, didn't you?
Sutton claims that indeed he had his orders, but he's starting to ramble, lost in the emotion of the moment. Harrow decides she's had enough of this, heading off to check on Brom and Croydon. Down in the comms room, Logan's surprised. The whole place has been smashed to pieces. Before he can work out what's happened, he hears the strike agents coming his way, now with Harrow in tow. No time to play detective. Up on the bridge, Sutton's put the Prometheus on a new heading. He claims they've got new orders from Strike, but Bexley, the technician, is smart. He's realized that the Prometheus's communications are down. Sutton couldn't have gotten new orders. Bexley asks asks the commander to explain what they're doing, but Sutton doesn't seem to hear him.
What are you most afraid of, Bexley?
Afraid of? Not sure I follow, sir.
We mustn't let our fears rule us. We must control them.
In the comms room, Logan's already jumping through the air, dodging Brom's thrown sword and gunfire from Harrow. Changing up her moves, the spy lady goes for a wrist-mounted device, launching some kind of line at Logan. But Wolvie catches it, pulling Harrow through the air and throwing her against some busted tech. Unfortunately, that bought Brom the time to get close. The half-alien wrestles with Wolverine, holding his claws at bay. Croydon follows that up with the butt of his rifle, hitting Wolverine in the gut hard enough to draw blood. Croydon backs off and Brom kicks Wolverine away right as Harrow gets back to her feet. This time, she activates her gauntlet, sending a massive current of electricity coursing through Logan's body. It's over. Wolverine's consciousness drifts away as the boots of strike agents slowly walk towards him. When he comes to, Logan's still aching. Commander Sutton's looking up at him with a grin. Harrow and Brom share an uneasy glance as their superior officer explains the plan to their captive.
I'm going to make the dream a reality, and I'm going to share it with the world. The Prometheus is going to live up to its name and deliver fire to the great city of New York. And you're going to have the best seat in the house.
He has literally chained Logan to a nuclear warhead ready to launch. Outside, New York's mostly on fire thanks to the Prometheus's other weapon systems. Lolita's left the Avengers Tower trying to find a way to communicate with Logan. Before she can, though, she hears an earth-shattering boom right behind her. Avengers Tower just got blown to rubble by the rogue helicarrier. On the launch deck, Sutton's left the strike agents in charge of Logan. Croydon's ready to go through with this, happy at the chance of an ultimate payday. But Brom's having second thoughts now he knows the plan.
I'm a soldier and I've done bad things in my day, but I'm not a terrorist and I'm not a bloody mass murderer.
You're starting to sound like a bloody coward.
Harrow breaks up the fight, telling Croydon to take a walk while Brom and her guard Wolverine. Logan snarks at the infighting, making Harrow snarl back at him, but she leads Brom off to have a quiet word in the corner of the hangar. One Wolverine can overhear. Harrow knows something's up with Sutton. Bexley told her that the commander hasn't really been getting orders from Strike. Brom doesn't know what to make of that. So this is just Sutton's crazy plan then? Up on the bridge, Bexley and his commanding officer are having a little talk.
We can't really be meaning to drop this warhead, right? I mean, it's a bluff, innit?
Come now, do you really think I'm going to incinerate 19 million people? Bexley, my dear lad, relax. I know you told Harrow about the communications.
Without a second thought, Sutton stabbed his own tech guy right in the gut.
You really should have kept quiet about that, lad. And yes, I do plan to launch the warhead. This is about destiny, and it's bigger than you and me, or any of those 19 million ants scurrying around below us.
Sutton says one last goodbye to Bexley before turning around and leaving the bridge as his former subordinate breathes his last. Unfortunately, Croydon picks that moment to walk in, spotting the dead man on the floor.
I don't suppose we can keep this between us, can we, Croydon?
I'm a telepath, remember? I can read your mind. You have no intention of letting me waltz out of this room alive.
The shocked agent has one last question for his superior. How long has this been going on? When did their cells stop being an actual spy group and turn into this? Sutton doesn't answer, letting Croydon read his mind to discover the truth.
Oh God, all this time, we've been...
Before he can complete that thought, Sutton pulls his pistol on Croydon, 2 down. The helicarriers finally arrived at the target site for the nuke, the United Nations building. Just outside, Melidia finally manages to connect to Wolverine, opening a video call to his communicator watch. She can at least try to fill him in about what little she has on Strike and Sutton. On the bridge, Sutton has put Bexley and Croydon back in their chairs. He can hear them talking to him, the tendrils of the serpent Asgard's god of fear lurking around them.
You might want to seriously consider taking the ship to a safer altitude if you're going to drop the nuke.
No, he's not going to bother with that. Commander Sutton has no intention of making it out of this alive. He never did. It's a good old-fashioned suicide mission.
Yes, this is it, I'm afraid, old friends. Like I said before, I wish you could have seen this through to the end. It's going to be glorious.
Down below, Logan's trying to talk Harrow and Brom down. He knows that they still think they're part of an actual spy agency and tries to use it against them, telling the pair that Strike broke up years ago. Brom's angry at the idea of that, pulling his sword on Logan, but Wolverine doesn't flinch, telling the Blue Man to ask his commander just where the orders are coming from. Brom's about to stab Logan, nuke or no nuke, but Sutton orders him to stand down. He outright admits that Logan's right. They don't work for Strike anymore. Who the bloody hell are we working for?
You lunatic. They'll hunt us to the ends of the earth after this. If you're angry now, dear boy, you're going to be right pissed when you find out what I did with the prisoners.
Harrow's finally had enough, igniting her wrist blades and charging right at Sutton, Brom right on her tail. The Mad Commander bats her away, however, laughing at her spirit. Logan yells at Brom to cut him down. He can help take out Sutton. The half-Kree pauses, then does it, shattering the chains with one well-placed sword swing. Logan pops his claws, ready to get to work. He jumps to the hangar floor, but before he can join the fight, a call comes in on his wristcom. It's Melita. That distraction gives Sutton the time to pull his pistol, shooting Harrow right in the gut. Brom tries to help his comrade up while Logan listens to the call. Knowing what to do now, Wolverine orders Brom to get Harrow out of there. She needs medical attention. He will handle Sutton. The rogue agent isn't worried. He doesn't think they'll get far. He and Logan face each other down. Wolverine offers him the old choice, the easy way or the hard way. Sutton acts like he's considering surrender, but then hits the button to open the deployment doors. It's too late for him to give up now.
You gonna blame this on Project Black Box, Sutton? Tell everyone they made you into a monster? What would you know of Black Box? You have no idea what they did to me. I understand better than you think, and I know that in the end you can choose what kind of man you want to be. Whatever they did, it doesn't make this okay. Those people down there didn't have anything to do with it. I can't feel anything anymore, Wolverine. I close my eyes and I see the atrocities I've committed and I just don't care.
Logan tries to sever Sutton's arm, but it's too late. With a final clanking release, the warhead drops, Logan jumping after it. He's got one last shot at this. Using his claws, Logan pulls himself up the nuke. He rips away the timer. The warhead is above the UN, heading straight for it. He takes the conventional explosive apart, broken metal and screws fall around him. He's got seconds left to remove the neutron trigger, the last part of the device, and the building shakes. People look on in shock, but nothing. No explosion. Wolverine picks himself up from the rubble, still good. Soon enough, S.H.I.E.L.D. and regular authorities have everything under control.
How in the hell did you know how to disarm it?
Wikipedia.
Now reunited with Melita, Logan and his love share a passionate hug. The world's not saved yet, but Wolvie just stopped a nuke from annihilating NYC. When the Avengers are done with the Serpent, they are taking time off together. A nuke wasn't enough to take down Wolverine, so what can kill him? Well,